Dear TV Midday News, I am Cynthia Bassi. We begin with the headlines. Niger State commits 5 billion naira to revive aviation training campus in MINNA. Ghana launches nationwide privacy awareness campaign to safeguard digital rights. Algeria accelerates mobile network rollout with 40 new stations in ANNABA. And away from Africa, FBI Director faces Senate over Charlie KIRK murder investigation. In health, cardiologists warn of growing cardiovascular crisis in Nigeria and Africa. And in business, farmers criticize federal government's food policy as AGRIC imports hit 2.2 trillion naira. In sports, TOBI AMUSAN wins silver at World Championships and bag $55,000 prize money. And now the news in full. The Niger State government has pledged 5 billion naira to reactivate the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, NCAT, mini campus at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Airport in MINNA. The funding will support the construction of new classrooms and hostels, part of a broader effort to transform the airport into a hub for both aviation and agriculture. Governor Mohammed Umaru Bagu announced the commitment while receiving a delegation from NCAT Zaria, emphasizing that the project will reduce the need to send students abroad for aviation training. Director of NCAT, Dr. Danjuma Adamu, praised the remodeling efforts at the MINNA Airport and highlighted the strategic importance of reviving the mini campus. He said the campus will enhance capacity building in agro-aviation, improve technical expertise, and strengthen the partnership between the state and the college. Established in 1964, NCAT now has 6 specialized schools, and the MINNA campus is expected to play a key role in decentralizing training programs. The initiative comes months after Overland Airways launched commercial operations at the reconstructed airport in April 2025. Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo described the airport as a viable alternative to Abuja's Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Meanwhile, Governor Bagu disclosed plans to demolish existing housing units and the aviation field depot at the airport to make way for modern infrastructure that meets the rising demand for training and accommodation. The project aligns with Niger State's broader push to boost its GDP through aviation and agricultural development. Moving on, but still in Africa, Ghana has launched a national privacy awareness campaign aimed at protecting citizens' data rights and reinforcing trust in the country's growing digital economy. Unveiled by Deputy Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations, Honorable Mohammed Adams Sukparu, the campaign emphasizes the privacy protection is not just a legal requirement, but a national priority in Ghana's bid to become Africa's artificial intelligence hub. The launch took place at the Data Protection Commission headquarters in East Legon, where the newly formed Ghana Association of Privacy Professionals, GAPP, was also inaugurated. A fresh group of certified data protection supervisors and officers, many from the 1 Million Coders program, was recognized for their role in improving data governance. Dr. Arnold Kavapo, Executive Director of the Commission, highlighted progress made under the Data Protection Act of 2012, but noted challenges such as low awareness, weak compliance, and a shortage of trained professionals. The campaign will run across all 16 regions from September this year to September 2026, with messaging in English and major local language including Akan, Ga, Ewi, Hausa, and Dagbani. Authorities say the goal is to empower every Ghanaian to understand and exercise their digital rights, ensuring privacy becomes a cornerstone of the country's digital transformation. Moving on, the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunication has announced rapid progress in enhancing communication and postal services across ANNABA state, following directives from Minister Said Ali Zaruki. Since April 2025, 40 new mobile network stations have been installed, with over 120 more planned to improve connectivity across the region. Temporary stations were also deployed at popular beaches such as Janan Abe, Shatabi, and Sanklo to support summer demand. The fiber optic network has expanded significantly under the Network Asana program, boosting subscribers by 46% from 454 in April to nearly 96,000 today. Algeria Telecom continues community outreach to promote fiber adoption. Digital skills development is another focus, with a skills center offering AI training and workshops for students, researchers, and startups, empowering ANNABA's youth. Postal services have improved, with mobile post offices easing congestions and plans underway for 2 new permanent offices in Federal and Amani Celestosa. The ministry emphasizes that this initiative demonstrates its commitment to upgrading infrastructure, driving innovation, and meeting citizens' needs, setting a benchmark for service development in Algeria. We go on a quick break now. The news continues when we return.
5G technology. 5G technology promises to be a game changer by delivering ultra-fast internet speeds, low latency, and the ability to connect millions of devices seamlessly. It's going to fuel the future of smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and IoT devices, allowing them to communicate in real time. However, 5G rollout isn't without hurdles. High costs of infrastructure and regulatory issues in some regions have slowed down implementation. By 2026, the 5G market is expected to be valued at $667.90 billion, with the US, China, and South Korea leading the change. The challenge? Cybersecurity risks and data privacy will remain top concerns as more devices become connected.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is still the Idea TV Midday News. Now the rest of the news. Away from Africa, FBI Director Kash Patel appeared before the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee today to answer tough questions surrounding his handling of 2 major controversies: the assassination of right-wing activist Charlie KIRK and the controversial disclosure of the Jeffrey Epstein case. KIRK, a prominent supporter of former President Donald Trump and founder of Turning Point USA, was shot dead on September 10 while speaking at Utah University. His killing sparked national outrage and renewed fears of escalating political violence in America. Patel drew bipartisan criticism after initially announcing an arrest just hours after the shooting, only to later retract the statement, with the actual suspect, Tyler Robinson, arrested more than 33 hours later. The confusion has led to growing concerns about the FBI's efficiency and transparency under Patel's leadership. Adding to the scrutiny, 3 fired FBI officials have filed a lawsuit accusing Patel of orchestrating a politically motivated purge of agents deemed disloyal to President Trump, a charge that continues to deepen political tensions in Washington. Patel also faced backlash over a memo in July closing the federal investigation into Epstein's network, stating the late financier acted alone and kept no client list. This conclusion angered both Trump supporters and critics who believe key figures are being shielded. Despite mounting criticism, Patel retains support from the Trump White House for now, but will testify again before the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday. As investigations continue, the political and legal fallout from these high-profile cases remains far from over. Moving on to health, cardiologists are raising the alarm over what they describe as a growing epidemic of cardiovascular diseases across Nigeria and the African continent. Experts say recent data reveals that nearly 4 in every 10 Nigerian adults are now hypertensive, a leading risk factor for stroke, kidney failure, and heart disease. The warning comes ahead of the Nigerian Cardiac Society's 54th Annual Scientific Conference, which began this week in Abuja in collaboration with the Pan-African Society of Cardiology. Themed cost-effective interventions to mitigate the burden of cardiovascular diseases in Africa. The event is addressing critical gaps in prevention, awareness, and treatment. President of the Nigerian Cardiac Society, Professor Augustine Odili, described the rising rates as alarming, noting that hypertension, which used to be less than 5% years ago, now affects nearly 40% of Nigerian adults. He attributed this spike to lifestyle changes, poor exercise habits, and a failing public health system. His concerns were echoed by the president of PASCAR, Professor Elijah Ogola, who said Africa now has the fastest growing rate of cardiovascular disease globally. Ogola highlighted that in some African hospitals, over 50% of admissions are CVD-related, even as the continent continues to battle communicable diseases like malaria and tuberculosis. Cardiologists are also spotlighting lesser-known conditions like peripartum cardiomyopathy, a serious heart condition affecting women shortly after childbirth, especially in Nigeria's northwest. Professor Kamilu Karaye, a consultant cardiologist from Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, noted that poor nutrition, frequent pregnancies, and delayed diagnosis are worsening outcomes for affected women. Meanwhile, the conference is also offering free CPR training to Abuja residents as part of a campaign to raise public awareness on heart health. Experts warned that unless urgent action is taken through prevention, early screening, and systemic health reforms, Africa could face a full-blown cardiovascular health crisis in the coming decade. Moving on to business news, the country's agricultural import bill has surged to a staggering 2.22 trillion naira in the first half of 2025, sparking outrage among local farmers and stakeholders. They blame recent federal government policies, particularly President Bola Tinubu's order to crash food prices, for worsening the situation. Farmers argued that such directives ignored core market realities and failed to address deeper issues such as poor infrastructure, weak purchasing power, and lack of access to affordable inputs. The government, through the Minister of State for Agriculture, insists that the President's directive will be enforced by ensuring safe passage of food products across key transport routes to reduce costs. However, rice millers and farming associations say this approach lacks proper stakeholder engagement and is undermining local production. They also pointed to failure of the 180-day duty-free window for food imports, which instead of reducing hunger, flooded the market with cheap imports and collapsed local crops prices. Maize, for instance, dropped from 60,000 naira to 30,000 naira per ton, leaving farmers unable to recover input costs. Adding to the frustration is the government's failure to distribute 2,000 tractors launched in 2024, which were intended to boost mechanized farming. Stakeholders say the delay, coupled with expired and ineffective subsidized inputs, is pushing farmers to abandon their farms. The All Farmers Association of Nigeria and the Small Scale Women Farmers Organization have warned that without urgent subsidies, investment in local production, and increased purchasing power for citizens, Nigeria risks sliding deeper into a food crisis, one that cannot be solved by short-term input waivers or top-down policy orders. And lastly, in sport, Nigerian sprint hurdler TOBI AMUSAN has once again made the nation proud by winning a silver medal in the 100 meters hurdles at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. Clocking an impressive 12.29 seconds, AMUSAN finished second behind Switzerland's Ditaji Kambodji, who stormed to gold in a national record of 12.24 seconds. The 28-year-old podium finish not only reaffirmed her status as one of the world's top hurdlers, but also earned her $55,000 in combined prize money and kit bonuses. The breakdown includes $35,000 from World Athletics for her silver medal and an additional $20,000 from High Racer, Nigeria's official kit sponsor, who pledged performance bonuses to athletes before the competition. With this performance, AMUSAN adds to her medal tally on the global stage, following her historic world record and gold medal win in 2022. The silver marks Nigeria's 12th medal in World Championships history and solidifies AMUSAN's reputation as a national sporting icon. The race itself was one of the most competitive finals in recent memory, with American Grace Starks taking bronze in 12.34 seconds, while Jamaica's Danielle Williams, defending champion from Budapest 2023, finished 7th. Despite missing out on gold, AMUSAN's consistency at the highest level and her significant prize underscore her continued dominance and star power in global athletics. That is all we have for you on Idea TV Midday News, but before we go, here's a recap of the headlines. We brought you news that Niger State commits 5 billion naira to revive aviation training campus in MINNA. Ghana launches nationwide privacy awareness campaign to safeguard digital rights. We also brought you news that Algeria accelerates mobile network rollout with 40 new stations in ANNABA. And away from Africa, FBI Director faces Senate over Charlie KIRK murder investigation. In health, cardiologists warn of growing cardiovascular crisis in Nigeria and Africa. In business, farmers criticize federal government's food policy as AGRIC imports hits 2.2 trillion naira. And lastly, in sport, TOBI AMUSAN wins silver at World Championships and bags $55,000 prize money. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television. I am Cynthia Bassi. Thank you for watching.